of Gavel Club of the University of Colombo, I would like to warmly welcome each of you who have joined us online. This is held as part of Enliven 2025, Sri Lanka's island-wide humorous speech and evaluation competition. So before we begin, it would actually be great if everyone could turn on their cameras, as it'll help us to feel more connected, and it also makes the workshop a little more personal. So today marks the second and final workshop in our two-part workshop series centered on the speech evaluation category. This aims to provide our participants with useful tips and clear guidance on how to approach evaluations effectively. And it is a privilege to welcome distinguished Toastmaster Arjuna Jayadarshana as the speaker of today's workshop. DTM Arjuna began his Toastmasters journey in 2005 as the Charter Secretary of the FTS Toastmasters Club. He later served as Vice President Education and went on to lead the club as President, during which time it became the first Sri Lankan club to win the Golden Gavel Award. In 2010 and 11, he served as Area Governor of Area J4 and guided it to President's Distinguished status. That same year, he founded the Negombo Toastmasters Club and was named Division J's Most Outstanding Toastmaster. He became a distinguished Toastmaster in 2011, the youngest in Sri Lanka at the time, and has taken on various leadership roles within District 82, including Club Extension Chair and Assistant Division Director. DTM Arjuna has also reached the division level in all 4 contest categories and served as a judge and chief judge at multiple levels. Professionally, he is an electrical engineer and currently serves as the training business manager at IPD Colombo Private Limited. So today he is here to guide us all in constructing and delivering strong speech evaluations. So with that, let's welcome DTM Arjuna Jayadarshana. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinesi, for that very kind introduction. Imagine you are told that you are a fantastic evaluator. Or after an evaluation, someone comes to you and tells, that was a fabulous evaluation. How would you react? Whenever this happens to me, there is one way I react. That's I tell, I just have to point out others' mistakes. Except for the humorous part of it, that's not a valid statement when it comes to evaluations. Good morning, my dear young, brave group of participants. Young, of course, you are young. Why I call you brave? When it comes to communication, to deliver any kind of a speech in front of an audience is something that everyone cannot do. It takes some doing. You need to be brave enough to deliver a speech in front of an audience. Now, in this particular case, the evaluation could be even tougher because it's not a prepared speech as such. You can't come prepare and deliver it. You need to take your own notes just prior to your speech. And within a limited time, you need to prepare and deliver it. To face that challenge, one needs to be brave. First of all, before moving further, I like to congratulate each of you for accepting this challenge and trying to test your skill on this particular art called evaluations. Now let me share my PowerPoint presentation so that it will help you to make your notes as well. Can someone tell whether it's visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Evaluate to motivate. That's what we generally tell. We need to evaluate others in a way that they get motivated. But here we go the extra mile as well, and let's try to win as well. What to win? Let me share little later. During my presentation today, I'll cover few subtopics related to this particular main topic. First, we'll talk about what do we evaluate. That we need to know. We are not going to evaluate anything that happens in front of us. Not everything. Some of the things, yes, we will consider. Then I'll discuss about the structure of an evaluation. We are not going to just present it the way we remember it and so on. No, we properly structure it and then present it. Then I'll cover the topic on how to take your notes, because as I said at the beginning, the preparation time is limited. Therefore, we need to have our own methods of making notes so that it is convenient for us and effective when it comes to the presentation of the evaluation. Then what the judges will be looking at, whether we like it or not, it is a contest. Therefore, we need to be mindful about what the judges will be looking at as well. Therefore, I will touch on that as well. And then a few tips to make a difference, not make the difference, bit of a difference. Let's see where those things take us. First,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah, sure.
Yes, so the screen can be seen, but not the presentation. It's only like your 5 or 6 movies.
Oh, seriously? Presentation in the sense?
The presentation, it's not like cannot be seen.
Oh, is that so? Sorry, maybe the window has changed. Yeah. Give me a second. Sorry. Thank you for informing me. Let's see whether this works. Is it?
It's visible now, so yes.
All right. Now this is what we went through. What do we evaluate? The structure of an evaluation, how to take your notes, what the judges will be looking at, and a few tips that will come handy when it comes to the contest. First, look at what do we evaluate. Now, when it comes to a speech, there are two aspects to it. One, the content of the speech. That you can note, you can write a good speech, but then there is another part to it. Both those together only, the speech will appear in front of us. Now, when it comes to the evaluations, we need to be mindful about both those aspects and make notes accordingly, so that at the end, we can cover the whole speech during our evaluation. When it comes to the content of the speech, first point, the message. A countless number of speeches must have been done all around the world. But all those speeches will be linked with one of 4 different categories. Now, any speech will fall under one of the 4 categories. Those are informative speeches, where you deliver the speech just to inform something to the audience. Then the second type, entertaining. Now, yesterday we had the workshop on humorous speeches. That's entertaining. Now, entertaining doesn't necessarily mean humorous, because imagine you are going to a movie, a horror movie. You are just so scared looking at the screen even, but you come out and say, That was a fantastic movie. I enjoyed it. Entertaining speeches. Then third type, persuasive speeches, where through your speech you make the audience do something or change their mindset about something you touched on during your speech. Persuasive speeches. Then the fourth type of speeches are inspirational speeches. Through your speech, you inspire the audience. You may refer to the past incidents, what they have achieved through the determination, teamwork, all sort of things. You inspire the audience. Whichever speech you come across, remember it will fall to one of those four categories. Therefore, when it comes to the evaluation also, we need to be mindful about where this takes us. The speech, if you can figure it out, whether it's an informative speech, entertaining speech, persuasive speech, or inspirational speech, we can mention that also in our evaluation. While mentioning it, we can touch on the fact that whether the speaker achieved his or her purpose of the speech. Remember, the value of a speech lies not with the script, not with the delivery. It's all about how successful the speaker is in passing on the message to the audience. That's what we refer as a good speech where the speaker was successful. Therefore, it's all about the audience, how you felt. Now, as an individual, when you are taking notes, you may not know how the others felt, but you represent the audience. Remember that. How you felt can be considered as how the audience felt. Therefore, when you witness the speech, remember to make a note what the message and was he or she successful in passing on that particular message to the audience. Make a note of that, right? Then the structure of the speech, just go through it, then I'll touch one by one. The structure has the opening, then from the opening, a transition to the body where you have points and supporting material. Then with another transition, the ending. Now, when you are the evaluator, keep an eye on those things. First, make a note of what is the opening. How successful was the opening? Now, when it comes to an opening, I don't know whether you have come across this. There are different techniques we use to make our opening a successful one. With the opening of the speech, we achieve one main thing. That is, we grab the attention from the audience. The audience attention needs to be grabbed through the opening. That is the main purpose of the opening. They say if you lose the audience, if you don't grab the attention within first 20 seconds, the audience may leave us forever. It doesn't matter how good the rest of the presentation is, they may not be back. Therefore, the opening is of that importance. We need to grab the attention from the audience. How do we do that? How do we grab the attention from the audience? Do we just start like any other part of the speech? Maybe not. There are different techniques we could use to grab the attention. First, we could ask a question. We could ask them a question related to the topic and the speech. We ask from the audience, then whether they literally answer or not, they will think about it in their head, which means they are with you. You have achieved your purpose, or you have grabbed the audience. Then you can continue rest of the presentation. Therefore, one technique is to ask a question. The second one, tell a story. Last week, when I was on my way to the office, all of a sudden, didn't you feel it? You wanted to know what happened next, didn't you? That is the effectiveness of telling a story. Audience will be with you. They want to know what happened next, what happened next. Therefore, that is another technique. You tell a story. Another one, you can share a quotation from a famous person. Sir Winston Churchill has said, if you are going through the hell, keep going. We will wonder, what has he said? We are with the audience, with the speaker. We need to know what this quote means. That is another technique. Then another technique, you can ask the audience to imagine. That's what I use today as well. I ask you to imagine someone tells you you're a fantastic evaluator. Imagine means you ask audience to do something. Generally, they will do. Just try it. Imagine you are on your way to the university or to the school Sunday morning. Won't you be doing this? Imagine after the New Year break, first day you're on your way back to the university. Using these kind of techniques, we use the audience opening to keep the audience with us or grab the attention from the audience, keeping them with us, up to us through the rest of the presentation. But the initial opening will help this particular purpose. Now then, with the opening, once we have the audience with us, we don't just straight away jump to the speech. First point, second point, third point, and so on. Now, generally, after the opening, we have a small transition. Through that, we move to the body of the speech. It's a simple line. One line, it could be one line. For example, you say, now let me tell the advantages of waking up early in the morning. Instead of saying first advantage, second advantage. No. We link the opening with the content. Then there could be the first point in the speech. Now, when it comes to a speech, you have the opening, the transition. Now we are at the body of the speech. Now, body will have many several points, many different points, all directed to the topic. Now, we have a common topic. We have the opening. Through a transition, we came to the content of the speech. The first point, the speaker will present. Then move to the second point, third point. Now remember, when you are listening to a speech, now imagine this is a persuasive speech where the speaker points out several points within the body to convince us. This is something we could do. First point mentioned, then the second point mentioned, third point mentioned, then the ending. But then we need to know, okay, he or she presented only the points. Where were the supporting material? Supporting material of a speech is of utmost importance. Now imagine someone tells you, when you work hard, you can be successful in your life. Do you have to believe that? Someone is just telling you that when you work hard, why should you believe that? But what if someone tells you, when you work hard, you will be successful in your life? Let me give you some examples. The one who lived in Kurnagal area, he lost both his parents at the age of 10, but he worked hard, studied, entered the university. Look at where he is today. Then another example. Now then what's the scenario? Won't you feel like believing that point? Instead of just the other speaker who just said, when you work hard, you will be successful. This is the importance of supporting material. If you are delivering a speech, make a note of these things. But here you are the evaluator. So in the shoes of evaluator, you need to note these things as well. Whether these things were there in the speech. Points were there, supporting material were there. Then once those main points are covered, speaker should move to the ending, but not straight away jumping to the ending again through a transition. Could say something simply. Now, before wrapping up, let me summarize the points. Then you tell it, done. Now, I said opening needs to be attention grabbing. Similarly, there is a line goes with the ending. Ending needs to be memorable. There could be a speech where quite a lengthy speech, audience will remember part of it, but ending, better it be memorable. They may walk out just taking that. That is also another point you can note in your evaluation. The ending was in line with the message and it is a memorable one. That's the structure of the speech. We are not talking about the structure of the evaluation. This is a comment we could make during our evaluation about the structure of the speech. I'll touch the structure of the evaluation later. Now we are still talking about the way we look at the speech, considering the structure of the speech. Now we are going to make a comment. If there is a point to highlight about the structure, we will make a note of it. That's what I say, right? Then we move to the humor dialogue. These are not essential parts of a presentation, but could add value. If you come across the test speech where humor is there, you could mention that as well as a plus. Of course, if he or she was successful in sharing humor, because humor is the toughest form of communication. Why? You get instant feedback. Now, any other speech, people could nod their head, speaker thinks they understood. Some of them may not have, but it won't affect your presentation. You will continue to do your speech. But humor, in your head, you expect them to laugh after this particular line, they don't. That could affect rest of your presentation. But if you are smart enough, if you have prepared enough, not just physically, mentally, if you are prepared enough, okay, that's all right. Let me forget it and continue rest of the presentation. Then you will be successful. But here, back to the point, humor, tough. But that's why if they have included in our speech, comment about that as well. Because someone needs to be a confident speaker to include humor in their presentation. Mainly because of that, where you get instant feedback, which will affect rest of the presentation. Then dialogues. That is directly linked with vocal variation. There is another point I'll touch later. We would love to listen to a dialogue even as part of a speech. If they have included that, yes, we can share, comment about that as well. Now again, I'll tell, this is from the angle of the evaluator. But if you are the speaker, you can make a note. Include these things in your speech as well. Got it? Now, Nuha or anyone else, should I open it for Q&A here or shall we go towards the end? Can I continue?
Sir, what do you prefer,
Yes, sir.
sir?
Q&A session is at the very end.
Okay, so I'll continue like this.
Yes, sir.
All right. Therefore, everyone, please, if you have any questions, please make a note. At the end, definitely we are going to have a chat about that and I'll clear all the questions you have, right? Now, we discuss about the content. For any speaker, the content you can prepare. You can get support from everyone. The best speaker will come and help you. But the delivery, you're on your own. That is the live presentation. You are going to do it in front of an audience. Therefore, when it comes to the evaluations, that is the other aspect of the speech we evaluate. We evaluate the content and the delivery. Now, on delivery, what are the areas we could consider? We'll go one by one. We refer this as body language. I always refer to this as the silent speaker. Just read this, I'll go one by one. The attire, approach to the stage, the energy level, posture, gestures, eye contact, facial expressions. The funny thing about body language is whether we speak or not, this part will speak. The way we stand on stage will send a message across to the audience. How confident. That's why we need to be mindful about this. Therefore, as the evaluators, we need to make notes of how good his body language was or what are the areas he could improve on when it comes to body language. Attire. Now, attire, if it is a generally normal way dressed speaker and it has nothing to do with the speech, you don't have to touch that during your evaluation. But for example, say the speaker is going to talk about the poverty in Sri Lanka and he comes dressed in such a way that you get the expression, oh, someone who's not wealthy enough speaking about a topic that is applicable to him or her. You can comment about that. Or somebody speaking about how important to dress properly if you're going to a function and he wears tie, blazer as well, then you can comment about that as well. You dress properly in a suitable manner to your topic. Otherwise, if it is just normal dress and it has nothing to do with the speech, you don't have to touch that in your evaluation. If I ask you, where does the speech start? I have asked this from many. Some used to tell first verbal or non-verbal action on stage, or then the first word, getting permission. I would always say it's the way you approach the stage where you give the first impression about your speech. Now, in your case, I got to know first round will be online, so you may not be able to comment about this. But once you move to the semifinals and finals, you will physically see how the speaker approach the stage even. Does he or she give you the impression really excited to do this particular speech? Or he or she is coming like someone pushing that person? You can touch on that as well. Because when the speaker approaches the stage in such an energetic manner, that means, yes, he or she is interested in doing this, will pass part of energy to the audience and give them the feeling, I must listen to this speech. Therefore, the way they approach the stage, even that you can touch in your evaluation. Then the energy level he or she maintained throughout the speech. There are some speeches, unfortunately, the opening part, fantastic, very energetic. Everyone loves listening to. But after a while, energy goes down. With that, the interest of the audience as well. This is another thing you can comment on. How he or she maintain the level of energy. Sometimes you have to drop the energy level according to your content. That's not what I'm referring here. The genuine enthusiasm the speaker shows throughout the speech to deliver the speech, that plays a part. That we can make a note of while listening to the speech. Then the posture. That's how you stand on stage. Sometimes we find the speaker may come and lean like this to the table or stand on one leg, hands like this. Posture will play a part in showing the genuine interest of the speaker to reach us. Therefore, properly stood on stage, yes, that's a good posture. Then the gestures. Towards the end, when we have the chat, we may bring this topic back. Gestures, not just during a speech, even when you have a chat one-on-one, gestures will add a lot of color to your delivery. Now, let me give an example. 20 years ago, I was afraid of delivering a speech in front of an audience. I became a Toastmaster. Today, I feel comfortable in delivering any speech in front of any audience. I'm sure in future, I could even earn money as a speaker if I continue the same. That's one way of delivering part of a content. Let me try to use the same words, may not. What if I say, 20 years ago, I was afraid of delivering speeches. After becoming Toastmaster today, I feel comfortable in talking to any gathering. I'm sure if I continue the same way in future, I may even earn money by delivering speeches. Can you compare these two? Without any gestures and with the gestures which go in line with what I say. This looks more attractive. The audience would love this over this. Therefore, when we listen to a speech as an evaluator, we could make a note of their gestures as well. Gestures could be quite funny. Sometimes it could go wrong as well, unless they use it accurately. It's tough sometimes. Imagine you want to tell a small elephant. How would you show a small elephant? Even the smallest elephant is this big, right? Is that how we use gestures? But then again, you can't say small elephant. Obviously, you don't get this size small elephants, do you? But if I say small elephant like this, then to show the big elephant, some of you must come and hold my hands to show a big elephant. That's not how we do it. The other side of the story, we are talking about a big ant, huge ant. Even the biggest ant, how big can it be? When it comes to gestures, exaggeration is fine. Audience will understand. You don't show the exact thing because you're not using sign language. These are gestures. Therefore, you can use your width as the reference if you want. And if it is something small, you bring it in. If it is something wide, you can go for the whole width. It was a huge elephant. It was a small elephant. It was a huge ant. Hope you got the point. Therefore, gestures, better it be in line with what he or she is telling. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do we show 1? The other day I asked, how do we show 1? Somebody said like this. I said, no, that's a different meaning. Now, say this is 1, then what is 2? 3? Even that is wrong. If this is 1, we don't drop 1 and bring 2. While keep 1, we bring 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Got it? Now, when it comes to gestures, sometimes it's very important to be mindful of the message we send across without knowing. Now, as I mentioned some time back, sometimes we feel very comfortable to have our hands crossed like this. But this really means you create a barrier between you and the other person. Therefore, whether you're on stage or you're talking to another person, always try to drop this. Be open-chested. Don't create a barrier between you and the audience. Hands in the pocket. Don't go there. Open palm and let them come and go wherever they should go as per what you tell. That's very important. Now, there's no point in saying, yesterday I went there, tomorrow I'm planning to go there. No, that's wrong, obviously. Past is behind you, present and future in front of you. Therefore, whenever you make notes also, it's not whether the gestures are there, whether the accurate gestures were there in the speech. If not, you can comment about that. If there were cases where he or she didn't use any gestures, but there were moments where he or she would have used, that is where you can mention. All right? Then eye contacts. Eye contacts plays a huge part in deciding whether your speech was successful or not, because At the beginning, I mentioned the success of the speech lies with the audience. For that, we need the audience to be with us as long as we want them to. For that, this is the technique we use. We keep them glued to us through eye contacts. Now, if you find it difficult to have eye contacts with them, just look at their forehead. They will feel like you are looking at their eyes, but you are comfortable because you are looking at their forehead, not the eyes. Simple technique. But the point for you is to note whether the speaker had eye contacts with the audience. If it is a huge audience, speaker could not have one-on-one eye contact with everyone. In such scenario, the advisable way to get over it is to cover areas. Have eye contacts to this particular area, and so on. But from your end, as the evaluator, make a note whether he or she had eye contact. Sometimes speakers, for no reason, look at the outside. At that moment, you lose the audience. Then audience will lose you as well. Why should we listen to him? Because he's not speaking to us. But then again, if you're talking about at the horizon, I saw a small piece of hope. Now, at the horizon, you can't be looking at eyes and tail at the horizon. If the content demands so, then do. Otherwise, always we have eye contacts with the audience. Then, facial expressions. Whether we like it or not, our face will also speak. Hopefully, the same message what we speak as well. I have a classic example. I was the evaluator on that particular day. One of my friends during table topics, he was given the topic to talk about something that his best friend, something like that. He was telling about we had fantastic time. We walked all around the country. We covered from top of the to bottom, that, this, everything. And all of a sudden he said, unfortunately, he passed out from a heart attack. Meeting went on, then came the evaluation time. I went there, and after giving him the credit for all the good things he mentioned in the speech, I said, at one point I couldn't figure out whether I should listen to your words or the face. Because you said, unfortunately, he died from a heart attack. You can't be smiling. You're talking about the death of your best friend. Since he was talking about all the joyful moments prior to that, he carried on. He didn't change it. He went on to say, unfortunately, he died from a heart attack. The proper way would have, we had fantastic time. We walked all around the country, superb time. Unfortunately, he died from a heart attack. But I still cherish the sweet memories I have with him. To change again, accordingly. Therefore, if you're a speaker, use it. If you're the evaluator, make a note of it. Whether the facial expressions go in line with, sometimes we will say, I was really tired. Seriously, really tired? You do that when you're tired? I was really tired. Therefore, make a note of it. Facial expressions, that is another point we can cover during our evaluation. The delivery, the other main part under delivery is the vocal variation. Under that, we have pitch, rate, pauses. Now, if someone talks about the most important topic in the world and the superb content, but he or she speaks at a monotonous pitch, rate, and no variation whatsoever, the audience may not find it interesting. That's why we need to bring vocal variation into our presentation. There are three aspects related to vocal variation. First one, pitch. Pitch means, in other words, how loud or how low we go as far as the volume is concerned. You can raise your voice, but at the same time you can drop it as well, depending on the situation. Varying this will bring a real taste to the message what we deliver, because it goes in line with what you are telling. It is an exciting moment. A dog came after me running. I just ran, and that you need to add more. A dog was chasing me. I was running very fast. You can't be telling a dog was chasing me. I was running very fast. The same content, but you vary the voice accordingly. But then that is the pitch, the volume. Then the rate. Rate is the number of words we speak within a given time, say within a minute or within 10 seconds. How many words we release within that time. That we need to vary. We shouldn't be speaking the same number of words at the same time. That's not what we do. If it is an exciting moment, we speak much faster. But if you're talking about meditation, or we are looking at the beach, looking at the sea, or we are at a funeral down, then we drop the rate as well. That will add color. That will make the audience more interested in listening to us. Then the third one. I generally use this, refer to this as something the speaker will do only he or she is confident enough. Pause. Because you're on stage and everyone expects you to speak, but you stay without telling anything. That's pause. Not for few seconds, minutes, no, or a few seconds sometimes. You pause. Very powerful. There are certain places where we should pause, we could pause to have the best effect. After asking a question, there's no point in asking a question if you don't pause as a speaker. We must give the audience to think and literally answer or not, to think about the answer. You ask a question, when did you have your breakfast? I am sure you didn't have just now because you are already in the meeting. Did you not? The effect of not giving a pause? What if I ask the proper way? When did you have your breakfast? I'm sure not just a few minutes ago because you're already in the meeting. That pause is what will make the question effective. Then after greeting, good morning. I'm here to conduct a presentation on good morning. I'm here to conduct a presentation. That pause. There's no point greeting if you don't let the other person enough time to answer. Therefore, that is another place where we could use a pause. Then when it comes to humor, how you crack a joke, audience start burst, right? Audience just send out. But what do? You continue the speech. Straight away you go to the next point. They have to stop their laughter and listen to you. By doing so, we kill the effect of the humor. There's no point in cracking a joke unless we give time for them to let it out. And you give a few seconds. Then only you come to the next point. Now, when it comes to humor, how to present humor, in that case also there is this particular thing called punchline. Now, we take the audience with us. Then all of a sudden, we want to make a twist. That is where the joke is created. So before the punchline, we pause. More importantly, there is a punch word through which the twist will be delivered. Before that particular word also we need to pause. May sound a bit advanced, but what matters is when it comes to humor also, we pause. Especially after cracking a joke, we pause. Now, if you are in the shoes of the evaluator, and if there is such a scenario where he has mentioned something humorous and audience start laughing, if he or she continues to speak without letting you enjoy that particular joke, make a note of it. You can comment about that. The speaker would have given a bit more time, pause for a moment, so that the audience could enjoy that particular piece of humor. Now, this is about vocal variation. Stage usage. As I mentioned, first round you may not be able to comment about this, but when it comes to physical meetings, stage usage is another part you can touch on. When you talk about past, the speaker could walk to this side. Then today and future. Or that is not the only way that you can do what we call stage crafting. Right? Say you have 3 characters in your speech. Your mom, dad, or even brother. 4. With you 4. When you have a dialogue with your mom, you can go to this side once. Dad this side, brother this side. Then at the end you want to refer to all 3. You can walk back and say, these are the ones really matter. You refer to them. You let the audience feel that, okay, mom is here, brother is here, dad is here. Such a thing also can be done when it comes to stage usage. Speakers sometimes may prefer speaking from just the center. Better not. Audience spreaded like this, or you go to this side, then come to this side as well. Now, when it comes to the eye contacts, sometimes one may feel, when if you go to this side, how could you have eye contact with the other side? Or how could you walk from one side to the other side? Different techniques are there. Now, imagine you move to this side, and then you want to move to this side. What you do from there, you have eye contacts, lock eyes with someone on this side. While talking to that person, you walk to this side. You don't look anywhere else. You are looking at that particular person and come to this side. Then you are back with the audience, rest of them. You speak like you've been there. That is just a simple technique you can use to move from one side to the other side. Now, this also you can mention. Now, sometimes a speaker may speak from this side and without telling anything may come to this side. Should not be, because you are losing part of your duration. Therefore, the speaker's stage usage is another point you can cover through your evaluation. Then the distracting mannerisms. Some speakers have habits. Those have become habits. They do like this. The tie is there. If the speaker is wearing a tie, to make sure it's like this, unfortunately, it will distract the audience. They will pay part of the attention to this, and then whether to see the tie is in the proper place. Speakers should not go there. Then some female speakers may do like this. Yeah, it hasn't even fallen in some cases, but they do like this. Even without their knowledge, they do it like this. It's distracting. Then tummy, some may feel like this. Then the specs, some they wear it, but some wear it and put it here. Why you need to wear it here? Unless you want to read something in between, why you put it here? Either you wear it or leave it and come. Simple things. I'm just showing you there are so many areas that we could cover through our evaluation. As long as it's applicable to the presentation, go for it. Now this is also about the delivery. Then interaction with the audience. some, just like the way I do right now, unfortunately that is the setup. But in between, if we had the option of discussing, that way we will make audience feel a lot more about the fact that they are part of the presentation. Therefore, whenever speaker delivering a speech, any category, informative, persuasive, entertaining, inspirational, you can ask a question or two from the audience. So they will feel like, okay, they are also part of the presentation. Apart from the eye contact, is another technique we can use so the audience feel, I should be with this speaker. Therefore, this is another point you can highlight in your evaluation, interaction with the audience. Imagine everything else done perfectly, a superb speech. But to make it even better, he would have asked a question or two. Simple questions. Imagine you are talking about your pets. You're a dog lover. You have dogs. You talk about the different breeds, food, that, this, and done. What in between you ask? Anyone who has that type of a dog? You tell a story and simply ask. Anyone who has the same experience? You ask a question from the audience. They start thinking about it. Got it? All right. Then we'll move to the second point. Now, the first part, we talked about the speech. What are the areas we could take out of the speech? Simply, which means applicable to even you if you are doing a speech. Very simple. Hope you have made a note of them. So that when you are delivering a speech, try to have them. Now, we are in the role of evaluator. Now, we are talking about the structure of the evaluation. We generally follow the thing called sandwich method. Every human being, including you and me, we love to hear good things about us. If there is anyone who doesn't like that, let me know during the Q&A session. Right? Therefore, this evaluation structure also, we will follow such a method. We start with something good about the speech. Then we mention the areas he or she could improve on. Then finally, we finish the evaluation again on a positive note, where the speaker will feel good about the whole thing. Starts positive, center, then ends positive. Please remember to follow this. The opening. Opening can be anything. Now, depending on the speech, you will need to adjust your opening. Better make it interesting there itself. Now, imagine a speaker speaks about a sport, maybe cricket, right? How could you open your one? You can simply say, now I regret not playing cricket during my school days. Just a simple line to link your evaluation with the speech. Then you get on with it. We'll cover rest of the structure as well. The opening, just to make you feel better as well, and to give the impression, yes, you are a confident speaker. You are not just going to deliver A to Z. What are the improvements? Right. Then strong areas. After the first liner, as I mentioned, we first touch on the strong areas of the speaker. We are going to tell what are the good points we witnessed in his or her speech. Now, there could be 150 good areas. We are not going to tell all those. We can mention maybe 3, 4. good areas without spending too much time. I'll come to timing later. Strong areas, we better highlight a point or two where we saw that as well. Now, you have fantastic control over your vocal variation, especially when you're mentioning those dialogues, different characters. Fantastic. Such a comment will do. Instead of just telling you have fabulous control over your voice, then stage usage is fantastic. Don't just stick to the point. Mention small, just touch where you saw it. Not all the points even. Fantastic stage usage. 15 years ago, now, future. Spot on. You mention something like that. Then you will give the impression you were properly listening to the speech. All right? Strong areas, don't just mention it. Mention just touch on where he or she has used it. Then transition. Now, after mentioning the good points, we don't straight away tell you need to improve your body language, you need to improve your opening. No, not like that. We need to put a nice line. Now, people may not like to accept some of the shortcomings unless we present it in such a way that they feel comfortable in accepting it. This is the art. Therefore, before moving to the areas they could improve on, put it in such a way. It's a nice speech. I think it can be even better. Let me share a few tips as I noted, where you will be able to deliver even better speech next time. Something like that. Or just a one line. Let me share what I have noted as areas where I think you have a greater potential than what you delivered today. We are giving the credit for having greater potential even. And we are just helping them to think, are these areas that you could improve on? Therefore, with that transition only we go to the areas they could improve on. Then we mention areas to improve. When it comes to mentioning the areas to improve, this is where I think the biggest difference between giving any feedback or giving a proper evaluation, especially in Toastmasters. Feedback, we just say, you didn't do well. But here, we don't stop there. You didn't do well in this particular area. We suggest how we feel you could improve, how we feel you would have done better. That is a must in this particular evaluation. We need to suggest how it would have been. Now, stage usage. Areas to improve, you mentioned. I think you can improve your stage usage a lot. And also vocal variation. No, you don't jump to the next point. First, you mentioned that. I think you can, I feel you could improve your stage usage a bit. For example, you take the point out of that particular speech. Obviously, we have to do that. If the point was not there in the speech, then no point in telling you would have improved that. Whenever we mention a point they could improve on, we must take the example out from that speech and demonstrate it. If you are talking about stage usage, I think you could improve a bit on the stage usage. For example, you mentioned 15 years ago. So you would have easily walked to that side saying, 15 years ago I did this. Now 7 years later, this is this. 8 years later, this is where I am. In future, this is where I am. You need to demonstrate this. In other words, you don't just tell what to improve, you also show how to improve. With both those only, you give proper feedback. The speaker will figure it out. I can bet in most cases, speaker will not. Yes. For that to happen, otherwise if you just tell you would have done better when it comes to stage usage, how could I? Don't go there. Don't take him there. Tell how, as per you, Remember, when it comes to evaluation, it's all about how you saw it. After you have presented your evaluation, another evaluator may come and present something else, may not go in line with what you have said. Don't worry about that. It's just that particular individual. Evaluation is all about how you saw this particular speech on this particular day to this particular audience. How you saw. That is the important part. Therefore, what you suggest that he or she could improve. Therefore, always remember, you don't just mention the areas to improve, you always tell how you think they could improve. Then a transition, because now you have mentioned the opening, the strong points, areas to improve. Now you are coming to the end. For that also, you need a transition. You don't straight away jump to the summary, right? You tell, now if simple line, if I'm to summarize my evaluation, that should do. Then the summary with encouragement. It's very important when it comes to summary, you don't go and tell lengthy things. You just need to be encouraging, of course. That part is there. Concise. You need to be just say. Now you talked about vocal variation, how this could be varied, and so on. Then body language, how the facial expressions, gestures could go here and there. When it comes to summary, you don't mention anything else. The areas first you mentioned, you have fantastic level of energy, fabulous opening, and love the message you shared with us. Brilliant stage usage. A few areas to keep an eye on next time: your body language, vocal variation, and keeping eye contact with you. Make it that simple. You are just telling that particular word, what you have touched there. That is the summary. Then what is the encouragement? Encouragement is you give him or her bit of positive energy to do the next speech. Because you are going to tell, I'm really looking forward to see your next speech. Because this should be the genuine case. After giving feedback, we would love to see how the other person has improved. Consider using our evaluation as well. Therefore, mean it and tell it. These are the areas. Then I would love to see how you present next time. I'm really looking forward to it. Wish you all the best. Have that particular encouragement at the end before wrapping up. This is the structure. Stick to the sandwich method. Put it in sandwich method. Good areas to improve. Encouragement with the summary. Encouragement is where the sandwich part will come, right? The opening needs to be there. You can link related to the topic. Make it humorous if possible. Then strong areas. You have the transition to the areas to improve, transition to the summary. This is the structure. Then in case you wonder how long you could spend with it, for the whole evaluation you are given 3.5 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. If you speak less than 1.5 minutes, you are disqualified. If you speak more than 3.5 minutes, you are disqualified again. Therefore, you have to limit your evaluation to 2 to 3 minutes. You can go up to 3:30. Unless you have taken part in many other contests, don't go closer to 3:30. 3:31 means you are disqualified, unfortunately. It could be the best evaluation, you are disqualified. If you stop below 2.5, 1.5, again you are disqualified. Don't go there as well. Plan it for maybe 3:15. You can't be looking at the watch, of course, to plan to that accuracy, but color indications will be there for you to get an idea. The opening, you can spend about up to that level, maybe 15 seconds max, because you have to address the speaker by name as well. Once you go on stage, you can straight away address them, or you can have the opening and then address. Whichever you prefer, whichever you feel comfortable with. Ladies and gentlemen, especially the test speaker, you mentioned that particular person's name. That is one option. Or else you straight away start, oh my goodness, I feel like I want to become a cricketer. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear test speaker, that technique, absolutely fine. Spend maximum 15 seconds for that. Then for the strong areas, I would suggest you go for 1 minute. So both together you will have 1 minute 15 seconds. Strong areas 1 minute. Now there is this general condition we consider is we speak 100 words per minute. Generally, that's the average. So we are talking about 25 words there, 100 words here, where we could easily touch 4 points or even 3 points, 3 or 4 strong areas. 1 minute, that will take us to 1 minute 15 seconds. Then maybe 1 minute 30 seconds to cover areas to improve. Why? Because we need to demonstrate how it needs to be done as well. Not like the strong areas. I don't mind reducing time from there further and adding here. Because the main focus would be on how you mention, how you help the speaker to improve further. But in general, I would suggest 15 seconds for the opening, about a minute for the strong areas, then 1 minute 30 seconds for the transition. To mention the areas to improve with all the suggestions as well, demonstrations as well, not just what to improve, how to improve as well. That will take us to 2 minutes 45 seconds. Then you have enough time to wrap it up, because you have to mention the summary and then the encouragement. Why I suggest like this is, if you go beyond that, the moment you see the red card at 3 minutes, you may panic. I sincerely hope you won't. Don't panic. Even the red card means you still have 30 seconds. Roughly about 50 words still you can speak. Therefore, if you want to spend more time with the areas to improve, you can definitely go up until 3 minutes. Which means you will get 1 minute 45 seconds for that. If we manage opening and the areas, opening and the strong areas with 1 minute 15 seconds, you can go 1 minute 45 seconds with areas to improve. Because as I said, summary, you don't spend much time. You just mention that particular word. You're really strong in your body language, stage usage, eye contact, and the fabulous message. Areas to keep an eye on, this. I really enjoyed your presentation and looking forward to your next presentation. Wish you all the best. Back to you. That's how we wrap it up. It won't take much. I hope you had a fair idea about the structure of the evaluation now. With that, let us move to the next point. How to take your notes. You may be the best speaker, best prepared speaker. But this will not facilitate that, because we are given limited time to prepare. You will be given 5 minutes to take your notes. Nuha or someone else, correct me if the rules have changed for this particular contest. 5 minutes to take your notes, and then one at a time they will take. So if you are a speaker towards end, you may have time, but you won't have the sheet with. In this case, you may have. I'll refer to the physical meetings. Your sheet where you have made notes will be taken away while you are waiting for your speech slot. Therefore, while the speech is going on, we need to take our notes. That is the skill. Now, this is a definite area where we need to have, or we need to bring out our multitasking skill. I know some evaluators who take their notes at the end of the speech. I'm not one of them. I make notes while listening to the test speech. So sometimes we may not remember even the example as well. Therefore, what I use straight away before the contest, I get ready with a certain structure where I have areas where to note what. One technique is this. You are given a sheet, you can note these things before the speech starts. That's allowed, but you are not allowed to take this sheet straight away to the contest, because at the contest you will be given a blank sheet. There you can make some notes. Now here I specifically keep a place to write the name of the speaker, because anyone will feel it a lot more when we address them by their names instead of my dear test speaker, my dear Nimal Ratnasekar. We don't have to tell the surname, my dear Nimal. Then the topic, because we need to evaluate the speech considering the topic as well. Therefore, note down because at the beginning of the speech, when the speaker is introduced, they will mention the topic as well. So while the introducer goes through it, you note it, the name, the topic. Then note down the opening as well, because it's a specific part of the speech which we can consider in our evaluation. Whether it was attention grabbing, if so, whether it's a question, a quotation, story, imagine, that we can mention. Then another specific part of the speech we will touch on is the ending. I kept it up because at the bottom I need to have the summary. So when the speech coming to an end, make sure you note the ending as well. Whether it's a memorable ending, you can comment about that as well. Then I have strong points area for strong points and points to improve. For strong points, the example as well on this side. Point to improve, how to improve as well. Stage usage, how to improve, 15 years back, present, future. Remember, you don't have all the time in the world to take these notes. You need to listen to the next point. While taking notes, if you miss a main point, all the others may highlight that, but we don't highlight it. Should not be the case. That's why I said that multitasking may need to be there. This is the technique generally I use. Then you come to the summary. Summary, you don't have to spend much time because you know the points, just a matter of writing them. And the encouragement will come. You don't have to write the encouragement. That should come from you. I thoroughly enjoyed your presentation. Really looking forward to your future ones. Good luck. Thank you, and return the controls back. Strong points, point to improve throughout the speech. Obviously, they will not come in the same sequence. Wherever they appear, you just note it. If it is a strong point, you enter there. If it is there, and get on with it. Now, you note few words which will remind you what it was. Because after the speech, you are given 5 more minutes to prepare this note. Once the test speech is done, you are given time to prepare this one. How to present. Therefore, making the notes here itself helps me, of course. This is how I take. Strong points there, done. It may be new to use, therefore the obvious way to go about it is try it a few times, then you will see whether it's comfortable for you. Then there is another option, this one. We break it into 4 quadrants. We are evaluating on the content and the delivery. Hope you remember. 2 aspects of the speech we are evaluating, content and the delivery. Now the content, what are the strong areas? What are the areas need attention? Delivery, what are the strong areas? What are the areas need attention? Accordingly, you can write at the 4 quadrants. Even opening, ending, you can write where it deserves to be, right? Then at the bottom, summary, strong areas need attention, and this, right? Now this is another technique. You will be the one to know which one is suitable for you. This, the previous one, or a completely different one. Maybe a blank sheet where you note down as you go along. If you are using such a technique, I would suggest a simple way I use. If it is a good point, I put a tick in front of that. If it is an area he or she could improve, I put a cross. So at the end, you see few ticks as well as crosses. Then you need to take the tick ones out. The rest will be the areas to improve. Then when you present it, you present accordingly. There could be many different methods you could follow, but it will be you who know which one is best for you. These are just two techniques, and the third one I share. Try this. Evaluate a few speeches using different methods, or at a glance you may feel, okay, this is the one for me. Then get used to it and do it until you feel comfortable. All right. Then we'll go to the fourth point. Now, until this point, it's applicable. Whether you are competing or not, it's applicable to speeches and evaluations. Now, we are stepping into the competition. Now, in a competition, we need to know what the judges will be looking at. For example, now, I believe everyone has seen motorbike races. Who's the winner? The one who finishes the race first. Have you seen Single Aurudu festival? There are motorbike races where the winner is the one who comes last. Which means we need to know what we have to do to win. That is where the ballot sheet will come into picture. If you are in a competition, make sure you know how the judges give marks for which areas. Now, if you quickly go through this judging item, suggested points, excellent, very good, good, fair. What are the areas we look at? Analytical quality, clear, focused. Recommendations, positive, specific, helpful. Technique, sympathetic, sensitive, motivational. Then the summation, concise, encouraging. Altogether, 100 possible points are there. Now, what does this mean? Analytical quality. When you listen to the speech, when you are witnessing it, do a proper analysis. Is this a strong area? Is this an area he or she could improve on? Now remember, judges will be evaluating the speech as well before judging starts. Because otherwise, one may say fantastic eye contact, the other one will tell he or she could improve eye contact a lot. Who will get marks? To do that, judges should know whether the speaker had good eye contacts or not. Therefore, be true to yourself. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't noted it, don't go there. You mention what you have noted. Now here, analytical quality. Clear, you need to be confident about what you're going to write. As I mentioned a few minutes back, it's all about how you saw this particular speech. How you saw it. Have faith in your judgment. I think he can improve on his stage usage. Don't have second guesses there. You go for it. Then when you present it in such a way. The audience, judges will most likely agree with you. Then the recommendations. Recommendations need to be positive. For example, your stage usage was not there, or we'll talk about something else. Your gestures didn't go in line with what you were telling. I would suggest you don't do gestures. You speak without any gestures. No, that's not going to work. We are not going to tell them to get rid of it. We are going to tell them how to do it properly. It has to be a positive suggestion. Then specific. Be confident, confidence will play a huge part in these subtopics. When you know something for sure, you will be specific. Otherwise, you will try to just touch and go, which in most cases judges will figure it out. Therefore, be specific, be confident. Okay, this is what I noted, this is what I suggest. Your presentation will play a part in speaker accepting your comment or say no. I don't feel he is confident enough the way he presented his feedback. Don't let that happen. Therefore, be specific, helpful. Helpful part will mainly come when you give the suggestion, recommendation. Now you need to show how it could be done. That is helpful. Not just saying you can improve this and that. Then the technique, sympathetic, sensitive, motivational. Now, as human beings, sometimes we may not be the ones to accept others' comment wholeheartedly. But that could all change if we present it in such a way. That is why we use those encouraging words at the middle as well. That was a fantastic. I feel it can be even better. Therefore, let me suggest a few points I thought you could do better next time. Motivate the speaker. If you do this, you can do better. Right? Then summation. I have touched it enough. Now, if you look at this, analytical quality, clear focus, it carries 40 marks. That is where the major chunk. Then recommendation, that itself 70. How you present it, then how you summarize it, 30 only. Now that matters at the competition level, but main focus is analytical quality. That is why you need to note down good points with examples, areas to improve with suggestions or demonstrations how it could be suggested, it could be improved. Those two will give a lot of confidence to your delivery as well. When you know, okay, I have valid points to present as the good areas and valid points to present as the areas he could improve on, rest most likely will happen automatically. Therefore, develop the skill how to pick strong areas and how to pick areas to improve with the suggestion on how to improve. Now, this is the balance sheet. I was informed this will be shared with you. So, am I correct, Noah? I don't know. Yeah, most likely. You could even take a screenshot. It should be there. Right? Remember, these are the areas on which you will be judged at the competition. Since it's a contest, we have to play with it. Okay? Now, just a few tips. I'm not telling these tips will make you the winner because all of you are here. So, it should be applicable to everyone here. Therefore, but it will make you feel a lot more comfortable with your delivery so that you may get the competitive advantage as well. When it comes to an evaluation, there could be this unlikely event where you know this particular speaker. He or she has done speeches. You have seen them. Never refer to those things. Evaluation is all about how this particular speaker delivered this particular speech on this particular topic to this particular audience. That's the only thing you are going to evaluate. Not his background, from where he is coming, how he performed last week or last year. Absolutely nothing. You are just going to concentrate on how he or she is performing in front of you on this particular day. That's all. Hope it's clear. I'll go a bit faster. I like to have a few more seconds for Q&A as well. Right? Then, no sugarcoating. The speaker is not going to give you anything for praising him or her. No way. But judge is going to give you a lot of marks if you be genuine. Therefore, don't worry about the speaker. You just tell what you feel accurate as per you. Only thing, you present it in a way that speaker feels comfortable in accepting your comment. Always be inspirational with your wording. Then in evaluation, remember we just suggest, we just share what we have witnessed, and with that we suggest if you could do this, speech will be better. Therefore, we can't force, we don't force. Technically, we should never use the term should or must in your evaluation. Accidentally you use it, don't worry about it during the rest of the evaluation, but try to stay away from terms like should and must. If you want to improve your speaking, you must concentrate on your stage usage. No, absolutely not. We just suggest. It was a fantastic speech. I felt you could improve a lot more on stage usage. For example, when you said this. You have done your part. It's up to the speaker to accept it and change accordingly. You must deliver this, otherwise you don't get the chance to deliver another test speech. No, never. We are not going there. Therefore, don't use terms like should or must. Make it interesting. Because it could be, speech could be a really good one, I don't think really bad one, or a normal one where you have good points as well as areas to improve. If it is clear the areas that he or she is really good at, as well as areas he or she could really need to improve, most of the contestants will present it. Now then, where will be that particular difference? Because it's a contest, they have to pick a winner. Make it interesting. They will feel, this one seems more sincere, more sensitive. For example, I still remember there was one particular competition, she had fantastic vocal variation. The first thing asked, where did you learn to control your voice like that? Ladies and gentlemen, so and so, that's how it started. Therefore, make it interesting. Need not to be at the opening. In the middle, when you are referring, say example, this same example, you are referring to the vocal variation. You have fantastic vocal variation. Instead of that, you can, from where did you learn to change your voice like that? It was amazing. When you had that dialogue, you changed the characters. You're through that particular point. Therefore, make it like that. Don't go just straightforward method. Now, there was one particular test speech, I remember. It was about her hobby, maybe. She spends time in the kitchen, preparing all sort of food and so on. One evaluator mentioned, if your speech was a curry, let me suggest adding few more ingredients so that it becomes even tastier. Instead of telling you can improve these things, she linked it directly with the speech. And these suggestions linked as ingredients to make the speech, the curry, tastier. Think like that as well, if possible. Now, these are good to do sort of things. Don't think I must do it, or don't think I can't do something, therefore I'm not going to do. No way. Right? These are things, if you can do it. Otherwise, don't worry, just concentrate on that judging criteria when it comes to the competition. Right? Then, mnemonics. Now, there are cases, if you are lucky enough, you will end up with, for example, suggestions. Once I did, there was this particular test speech where pauses, the areas he could improve on, pauses, energy, negative, some sort of a comment was there, negativity, and then maybe stage usage as well. After mentioning those things, simply said, if you want to remember properly what the areas to improve, remember these pens: pause, energy, negativity, stage usage, mnemonic, a way to remember it. Now these are fancy stuff. If you really want, you could include, but never try to force it or never lose the focus from the main thing. Main thing is mentioned clearly in the ballot sheet. Just focus on those areas, not for the sake of winning the competition, but for the sake of doing a proper evaluation. Because this will come really good if you have the genuine feeling of why you do this. Why do we give an evaluation? Not to show we know better than the speaker, no way. Such a comparison doesn't happen through an evaluation. This is simply to help the speaker by giving the view from the audience so that the speaker could improve his or her speaking using our feedback. For that to happen, the way we presented matters. That's why we need to be sensitive and present in such a manner, a structure, so that he or she feels good at the beginning, then area, then good as well. Now those things are structured in such a way to make it happen as much as possible. Now these things will add a bit more color, but main focus keep with the good areas, areas to improve, and the summary. With that, I think we could open it for Q&A session. What else you want to know will be what we consider as the Q&A session.
Excuse me, sir. So before the Q&A session, could we take a quick virtual screenshot with all our participants?
Yep. Why? Sure. You want to go? Okay.
No, sir.
Shall I stop sharing? Better.
Yes, sir, if you could.
Okay.
So I invite all our participants to take a quick virtual screenshot and to switch on your cameras if you could for a moment. If there's anyone else who can switch on your cameras, it would be great if you could actually. So I'll start the count. So let's, okay. So let's go for a virtual screenshot. 3, 2, 1. I think we can go for another one. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So just like it was mentioned by our speaker, we have the Q&A segment left. So if you have any questions regarding what was presented today or any concerns regarding evaluation speeches, this is your time to get them sorted out by DTM Arjuna Jayadarshana. So you could even send your questions in the chat, or you could raise your virtual hand if you want to speak directly.
Minesi, are they aware of the way to conduct the online contest? Already informed that?
Situshiaki, I think she's a better person to answer this question.
Okay.
We have provided them with the guidelines document when they were registering itself. So
How the online contest is taking part as well? Physical one straightforward, I think.
No, sir. In the guidelines document, it's specifically mentioned how we conduct in the online one only. The preliminary.
All right. One question one may ask. I'll ask the first question then. How to address the audience when you are in front of the computer? We could generally easily we get carried away by the audience. We look at the audience, then we lose the focus with the actual camera. Therefore, try to focus on the camera. One technique to use, you can have a photo even of a group behind camera. So then you are talking to that particular group. You are not talking to just the camera. So then you feel like you are talking in front of an audience, which will serve the purpose because others will see like they are looking at directly at them. That is what you need to achieve. It is one technique, simple technique you could use. Please feel free to ask any question. I am sure that you have heard this enough time. There are no dumb questions, but there are dumb people who don't ask questions, thinking others will think you are dumb, right? And trust me, almost not all the questions, most of the questions one asked, others also had that question. They didn't have the courage to ask that question. So you be the one ask that question, and in some cases, some may not up to your stage to ask that question even. Therefore, don't worry about that. By asking a question, you are not going to lose anything. You are going to learn a lot, gain a lot. If I ask you from all these hundreds of lectures you have been to, what are the things you remember most? One set of items are the ones where you ask a question and you got the answer. Not someone else asked a question and got the answer. No. What you remember most are the questions that you asked and you got clarified. Therefore, just feel comfortable. If everything is clear, absolutely fine. But make use of it. Whatever the doubts you have, please ask. I'll answer.
So there's a question in the chat asking, is stage movement needed in evaluation speeches?
Sorry?
So she has asked if stage movement is needed in evaluation speeches.
Yeah, this is the thing. Now, in your speech, most likely, as a strong point or as an area to improve, you will cover it with the demonstration. So there itself you will cover, but when it comes to your presentation, this is what I said. Please keep your focus on the balance sheet as well. In the balance sheet, there's no separate marking for stage usage. You can do it from where you are. You don't have to walk here and there. But if you're doing the demonstration, better do it. Even you don't have to walk and show. You can say you would have easily walked to that side, here, and this side. That is a proper demonstration. You don't have to go there and do it. Therefore, no, you don't have to walk. If you feel like walking, do so. But one may ask, why do you walk when you are talking to the same person, the test speaker? That is another thing. If possible, do this. If possible, do this means what I'm going to tell. Now, generally, we always address the evaluate. In between, you can ask from the audience, did you know how brilliantly she used the stage? There you take the focus away from the speaker, but you are still referring to the speech. That will serve the purpose. Therefore, you don't have to be just talking to that particular person. Audience will listen to you knowing that this is an evaluation. You are referring to that particular speaker. But in between, you can go outside as well, as far as your eye contacts are concerned. Right? Therefore, no, you don't have to use stage. Speaker should, if he or she hasn't used, make a point of it. When you present your evaluation, no, you don't have to use stage. Hope that answered your question.
So there's another question in the chat saying, like, since you said the paper will be taken away, like our notes, after 5 minutes, they have asked whether we will be handed the paper back to present the evaluation.
Yes, of course. This is how it happens. All the if I'm referring to the Toastmaster arrangement, if any changes, please you or someone else jump in. The evaluators will be seated in the front rows. That is mainly because if some malfunctioning of the mics, still evaluators should hear the speaker. Audience, that's absolutely fine. They can sit at the back. The speech will go on while the speech is going on, because before the speech you will be given a blank sheet to make notes, or maybe two papers, right? You make notes. Once the speech is done, still you will remain at the same place for 5 more minutes, where you can continue taking your notes. Then at the end of that 5 minutes, all of you are taken out from that particular room. While going out, you have to hand over your paper to the sergeant at arms. They may collect it at the door, or will come to your chair and collect it. To get it back, you must make sure you have written your number and name at the top. Therefore, after the speech, you have 5 minutes to make notes, and then they will be taken away. Then, one by one, you will be coming back to the room. At the entrance or at the stage, depending on the arrangement they have made, you will be getting your paper back. Then, when you present the evaluation, it will be with you. Whether you refer to it or you speak from your memory, up to you. That will not add more marks. Just because you didn't refer to the paper won't give you more marks. Therefore, I generally use the paper. I don't take the chance, because to summarize and so on, I need it properly. So therefore, I generally use it. Nicole, was it Nicole? No, sorry. Who was that? Hope you got the answer. It's Nicole, isn't it? Okay. Now, evaluation is not something completely new to us. The proper evaluation, structured evaluation, is what we are talking about here. Otherwise, giving feedback we do every day to our friends, about teachers, whoever, we do evaluate them, right? But this is learning how to do it the proper way, so that the other party gets the best out of it. That's the technique, right? Do they have any grooming sessions as such after this? No, no, they are straight into the competition, I guess.
Yes.
Amination? Okay, right. Right. I would suggest one thing. Now, for some, it could be relatively new, this thing. Therefore, you listen to speeches. There are millions of speeches on internet. You let them play, and you take your notes and try to put them in this particular structure and present it as well. Now, that is how one could practice. Make it a rehearsal as well. Do it in front of some others as well, if possible. It's tough. Unless you are very comfortable in delivering speeches in front of the others, you may feel a bit. But still, this is where you will be creating your best version, subjecting you to this kind of scenarios that will groom you as the best version of yourself. Therefore, practice it. The main thing for you to gain is how to analyze it, how to note. These are the strong areas, these are the areas he could improve on, this is how it could be done. Those are the things that you could develop with practice. Now, they say you practice until you get it right. That's an old saying. Now we should practice until it cannot go wrong. Those are two different things. You practice until you get it right and stop. No, it may go wrong at the time that it should not go wrong. But if we practice it until it cannot go wrong, yes, then we are through. Therefore, feel comfortable. Just practice and get used to it. It's a matter of getting used to it, noting these points and presenting it. Don't worry about while you are in the competition. If you find the speaker is really good, the test speaker, we call him or her the test speaker who will be delivering the speech for you to evaluate. If you find that speech is really good, don't mentally give it up. Remember, everyone is evaluating the same speech. If it is tough for you, it's tough for the others as well. Therefore, mentally be strong and you make notes. And I can almost bet there will be more than enough areas you could note as areas to improve. Therefore, when you are in it, just be relaxed, comfortable, and make notes. And you will have 5 minutes to adjust it as well and then present it. Right? While you are in the other room waiting for your slot, you practice it. And you can even have a go at it from there. Mentally, you go through it. Okay, I will walk, take the paper, adjust. This is the one. When you are there, please ask the organizers where the test speaker will sit. Because after coming there, after going to the stage, where's the test speaker? May not be the ideal way. Most likely, test speaker will sit front row towards the middle. Most likely, I don't know the arrangement. But in this case, virtually, of course, you don't have to worry where the test speaker. You just address test speaker through the camera, he or she will see, right? And remember, test speech. I think we can reveal this. Test speech, test speaker won't be using a stage. Am I correct? It will be a speech like this. Minesi, anyone in a position to answer that?
I'm sorry, sir. What was the question? I couldn't quite catch that.
No, the test speaker. No, it could be walking on the stage where the camera is focusing from a bit distance. Still, the voice is audible. Or it will be a speech like this.
No, sir. They will be using a stage.
All right. Okay. So then
Okay.
even stage movements will come into picture, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. I was about to tell them, if not, you don't have to worry about that, but still the gestures will come into picture. Okay, cool. There you go. You have enough points to note, definitely. There are so many points. Yeah, sorry. Yes.
So they have also asked about how the online round will happen regarding evaluations, like the procedure of it.
I think that needs to be answered by somebody from the organizing committee because it happens different ways. Practically very difficult, I will tell here itself. But I am sure we can trust these contestants. So, is anyone in a position to tell how it happens? You will be taken away to a different room in the sense virtual room, and bring one at a time. Wow, anyone?
Aki, shall I go?
Yes, Takeshi, go ahead.
Okay. So the contestants will be joining the meeting around 15 minutes prior to the start of the competition first. And then, like at the beginning, they'll be hearing a 5 to 7 minute test speech, like Sir also said. And then during that time, they'll be allowed to make the required notes and everything during the test speech as they see fit. And then at the end of the speech, all the contestants will be given 5 minutes to prepare their evaluation using their notes in the main room. They'll be in the main room. And then they have to keep their cameras, audio on during that time. And then like they'll be subjected to supervision during that time as well. After the 5 minutes, there'll be no further preparation time allowed. And they'll have to remove their papers, everything, and they have to move away from the paper, stand or sit, and then give their evaluation speech. All these information are actually in the guidelines as well. So anyone who needs further information from it can like go through it properly and see as well.
Yeah, it's the same procedure. Only thing, since it's virtual, we have to make sure different not rules, different techniques are followed, right? Yeah, just be true to yourself. Very simple. It's just you are not going to achieve anything by cheating. I don't like to even think that they will try anything like that. It's just to make it visible to others as well. We are using that technique. Otherwise, I am sure we can trust every contestant. You have the courage to take part in this. Then to get the best, of course, we have to play by the rules. Therefore, let's go for it. Can you clarify how icon tags should be used in evaluation? Yes, you as the evaluator, I believe. When you are the evaluator, when you present it, I guess, always, whatever the presentation we do, icon tags will be the most effective tool to keep the audience with us. For that, therefore, always keep icon tags with the audience. In evaluations time, mostly we will be looking at the test speaker. But as I said, if you are comfortable enough, you can look at the others as well and speak accordingly. But you can't be addressing the test speaker while looking at the others. If you are looking at the others, you can simply ask, did you note how effective the examples she used? They were fantastic. Then you look back at the speaker and tell it. Combine that. Otherwise, all the time, to whom you speak, look at that particular person. Very simple. It could be a tricky part sometimes, because we have said we need to have evenly spread eye contacts with everyone in the audience. But that is when we speak to the whole audience. But generally, we give feedback to the speaker. But the others can and will listen to the evaluation and learn. But we give the feedback to this particular person. Therefore, look at the speaker and deliver the evaluation. Listen, I guess I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
If there are any more questions, you could send them into the chat or raise your virtual hand to direct them as well. I think there's a few more minutes we can use for the Q&A session.
Always be truthful to yourself when it comes to evaluations, speaker or in life even. The other party will not achieve anything by lying to that person, trying to praise for something he or she doesn't have. So the same with the speeches as well. Please always remember the intention of why you give evaluation. Evaluation is simply for that person to improve. For that, we need to give an accurate feedback. Just tell what you have witnessed. Always, it's just what you have seen on this particular day. You may know in the unlikely event, you know this particular speaker, still you don't even remember about his or her past. And also don't let kind of halo effect get into you when it comes to your evaluation. Halo effect means one particular area is really good. Because of that, you give credit for the other areas as well. You don't have to. You don't. Better not. You give credit to where it belongs. If he or she has a fantastic vocabulary, you can mention that. Brilliant usage of words. But then again, stage usage is not that good. Then you need to highlight that. Just because she has a superb vocabulary doesn't mean you need to stay away from pointing out stage usage. Therefore, be true to yourself. Whatever you have noted, you present. Only thing, try your best to present it in a way that speaker feels comfortable in accepting your comments. That's where the art is, right?
So there's another question asking about the tone for evaluations, whether we should use a natural tone or a formal tone.
Just there is one particular point, this one can be directly linked with that. In the judging sheet, they say about sensitive. Your evaluation is sensitive. One could present the most accurate evaluation, but if the speaker doesn't feel comfortable in accepting that, we may not achieve the purpose of giving the evaluation. Therefore, be sensitive. You don't have to be formal. But wording, of course, you need to select the proper words. Be sensitive. Add vocal variation where it's due. Don't go monotonous. Some qualities applicable to any speech. Body language, hand gestures. Don't just hold on to the paper and read. At the beginning, you mentioned this thing. Then at the middle, you mentioned this. At the end, you mentioned such a memorable thing. You use that as well. Then the voice, same. You use it. Keep a pause or two as well. From where did you learn to vary your voice like that? You pause for a moment. Then you tell the rest of it. Therefore, voice, there's no such a thing called being too formal, you improve this. No. Just be natural. Let it, present it in a way that you will feel comfortable to accept such feedback. Put it that way to the other person as well. That's why we always say inspirational, motivational as well. I have seen this as a fantastic speech. I feel it could be even better. Then the speaker will accept it. Therefore, vary voice also accordingly. Okay, hope I answered him or her.
So thank you everyone for asking your questions, and of course, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. This session was actually really informative, and I'm sure it strengthened the self-assurance of our participants, which would ultimately benefit them in the due course of the competition. So we are truly grateful for your time and presence.
You're welcome. One last comment. Just do your best and then take a rest. Practice and do it properly. Do your best. Don't worry about it being a competition. Have the competition with yourself, not with the others. Because you don't know how good or bad the others are. They are from all around the country. Try to be the best version of yourself. If it is good enough to be best at the competition, let it be. But you are competing against yourself. By accepting this particular speech slot, the competition itself speaks a lot about you. You may not even know that. By being a competitor in this particular contest, it speaks volumes. Seriously, you are really good. It's just a matter of delivering further. Therefore, don't let the pressure of a competition get into you. Just try to be the best version of yourself. If it is the best version of the competition, let you be the winner. Good luck, everyone, in achieving your best. Thank you. Thank you, the organizing team as well. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir. So before we wrap up, this is a gentle reminder on the deadline of Enliven 2025. So today is actually the final day to register for both categories. And the competition features two categories as humorous speech and evaluation speech. So both university and school level participants are welcome to take part. And of course, we encourage everyone here to seize this opportunity to showcase your speaking skills. So registrations will remain open until midnight. And if you haven't registered already, you still have some time left. And the link has been sent to the chat. So I think it's better to send it again if we could. Yes. So the links has been sent to the chat as well. You could refer to them and register before midnight today. So we are thankful for all of you for your active participation today as well. And the recording of this workshop will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, Gavel UOC. So you could refer to that after today. And we really look forward to seeing you all shine through the journey of Enliven 2025. So wishing you all good luck and have a great day ahead.